Welcome to the Chicago Bar Association's Justice and Law Weekly. I'm Janine Cordero, a member of the Chicago Bar Association. The Chicago Bar Association has been helping people find the right lawyer for over 70 years. The Lawyer Referral Service offers many services to the public to fulfill their legal needs. Here to tell us how these services can help you are Brenda Ott, Director of the Chicago Bar Association Lawyer Referral Service, and Scott Andreessen of Andreessen & Associates. He concentrates his practice in sports and entertainment matters. Mr. Andreessen is also the chair of the Chicago Bar Association's Lawyer Referral Service Committee. Thank you for joining us, Brenda and Scott.
Thanks for having us.
So Brenda, as the director of the Chicago Bar Association Lawyer Referral Service, why don't you tell us about the service in general?
Sure. Well, the Lawyer Referral Service is a public service, kind of an extension of the Chicago Bar Association, where people can contact us to get a referral to an attorney. And it's an attorney that they can be assured is competent and experienced. We basically, when someone contacts us, we try to put them in touch with an attorney that practices in the area of law that they need help in.
Okay, so how would they get in touch with you? Would they call you? Would they go online, or both?
They can do both.
Okay.
We make referrals both online. We have an automated system on our website.
And we'll put a slide up with that information. Okay. It's at chicagobar.org.
Exactly.
And the number to call is?
312-554-2001.
Okay, and when they call the number, will they have a live person talking to them usually?
They do. We have staff that's available on the phones during normal business hours from 9 to 4:45 Monday through Friday, and they can call in, and that staff person will try to help them identify what type of legal issue they have and if we can place them with an attorney.
Mm-hmm. And Scott, you're a participant in the Lawyer Referral Service.
I am.
And how long have you been participating in that?
We're going on 9 years now.
Very good. And so now your practice is in sports and entertainment law, but what if somebody calls and says, I need a divorce lawyer? How many different types of lawyers in areas of practice does the Lawyers Referral Service have?
We've got approximately 300 attorneys in 40 different areas. So if someone called me and said they need a divorce attorney, I would probably tell them they need to go back to the Chicago Bar Association Referral Service and get a different attorney.
Okay.
But yeah, but we have, again, 40 panels, so we're able to place individuals with somebody who specializes in their particular need.
Mm-hmm. And Brenda, when they call in, do most people know that they need a particular type of attorney, or do you have to do some guidance with them?
Most of the time, Janine, they do know. And they'll say, I'm in this situation, I would like to talk to a bankruptcy attorney. Mm-hmm. So we can clearly then, we refer them out to a bankruptcy attorney. Sometimes they'll call and they'll say, I don't know if I need an attorney, can I tell you? And we say, sure, tell us briefly about your situation and let's see if it's something we can make a referral for. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, yes, it is something clearly that they need to seek an attorney's advice or assistance on.
And if you don't happen to have an attorney who can help them, maybe they're calling outside the area of practices that the CBA offers, or maybe they can't afford to pay an attorney, what are options that you might give them then?
Well, we do have numerous resource guides at our disposal, and because we are an information service in addition to just being a referral service. Mm-hmm. And so if someone calls and they can't afford a private attorney through our service, we can refer them to numerous legal aid organizations throughout the city or other agencies. That
very good. So Scott, when someone's referred to you, what's the intake process? How do you operate?
Generally for me, they'll call me and say I was referred to you by the Chicago Bar Association Lawyer Referral Service, and I'll just talk with them and say, okay, well, what do you have going on? What do you need help with? And we'll talk through whatever issues they're having or whatever projects they need help with. And then, I'll convey to them, what I believe I would be able to do for them or how I might be able to assist them. And then if they decide to use me, they do. Okay. If for whatever reason, they're not fitting exactly within my areas of expertise, I would then send them back to the service to find an attorney that might fit them better. Or if I know of an attorney who's on the panel that might fit them better, I'll say, hey, please ask for this individual because they're gonna suit your needs a little better.
Very good. And is there any charge for the lawyer referral service, Brenda?
Well, there's no fee for someone to contact us and get a referral. That's totally free. We don't charge, ask for a credit card up front or anything like maybe some others do. We will give the person a name, or we'll give up to 3 names actually of lawyers that might be able to help them, give them the phone numbers, and then we will either offer to transfer the person to the attorney, or the person will just call at their convenience. Now, the only fee comes in is $30, and that's only if they actually have an office consultation with the attorney. The attorney would collect $30, and that comes back to the Bar Association to help cover the operating costs.
Very good. And my understanding is each lawyer through the referral service operates a little differently. Like the initial consultation with the client might be free, or there may be some kind of fee associated with that depending on the attorney and their billing practices.
That's correct.
Okay. And is there any fee to the attorney who participates with the Chicago Bar Association? Or I know there's an application process.
There's
but
an application process, and then there's also a small referral fee
okay.
that the attorney pays to the service. And again, that helps fund our operations.
Right, right. Let's talk a little bit about the application process, because I imagine that one of the benefits of coming to the Chicago Bar Association is it's not like opening up the yellow pages and doing this, and saying, okay, I choose you and I know nothing about you as an attorney. Maybe you're a good one, a bad one, or maybe, you'll take my money and I'll never hear from you again. So there's obviously a vetting process that goes on with the CBA. So can you talk to that,
Sure.
Scott?
That's actually the wonderful thing about our service that separates us from, the online directories, where quite literally all it takes to get listed on a directory is paying a monthly or yearly fee. And you're right, you don't know if you're getting a good, bad, or somewhere in between. Our service, we have a fairly intensive application process. I vaguely remember when I was going through it, just being like, "Wow, this is a lot of stuff." But it's a 7 or 8 page application. We require letters of recommendation from attorneys or judges outside of their firm that they've worked with throughout their practice. We require attorneys to demonstrate their expertise in a particular area. If you're going to be a trial attorney, how many trials have you handled? For me, doing intellectual property or sports law, how many matters have you handled? Give us an idea of what you do. And then we, as the committee, will review those applications and to make sure that they are of the caliber that we are comfortable putting the Chicago Bar Association name behind them. Because again, it's very important for us that not only are we giving people that are qualified attorneys, we're giving qualified attorneys to people that need them, but it also carries our name with it as well.
Sure.
So it's very important to us that everybody's happy.
So what's the approval process? They fill out the application. It comes before your committee
Right.
That you're chair of. And what do you do next? You review the application. Does the person come in for an interview, or how do you handle it?
Well, we actually have we have different screening panels. It's all part of and under the lawyer referral committee, but there's a screening panel that reviews all criminal law applications. There's a screening panel that reviews all personal injury applications.
I see.
It's made up of very experienced attorneys in each of those areas, and they're the ones screening. And so it's up to each individual committee, screening panel, as to whether they think they would like to hold an interview. Some will do that. Some can just make a determination based on the letters of recommendation and the application.
Very good. And Scott, I understand that you use the ABA guidelines as a model for the lawyer referral service. Can you talk about some of the criteria that those guidelines set out?
Our lawyer referral service is one of the few services in the country that actually meet the ABA requirements as far as the criteria for the attorneys, the creation of practice area panels. Brenda probably could speak to that a little bit more than I can, but it does impose additional obligations on us, which just only makes us a better service.
Yeah,
Do you want to add to that?
Well, sure. Scott basically said basically there's 3 things, big criteria that we have to meet to be approved by the ABA, to meet their standards, and that is that we do set up particular subject matter panels. That's so that we don't have criminal attorneys taking referrals immigration or workers' comp if they're not qualified to do so. So we set up these panels and we set guidelines and criteria that they have to meet. The other standard that we have to meet is we have to ensure that all of our attorneys carry malpractice insurance. And that's something that we obtain from them when they first join, and then every year thereafter we make them send us proof that they still carry malpractice insurance. And the third standard is that we have to have in place a mechanism or procedure to survey our clients and find out, get feedback on our service and the attorneys, and then we have procedures in place to handle any complaints if they should come up.
Very good. And do you do any background checks on the attorneys? Like you check with the Attorney Discipline and Registration Committee to see if there have been complaints about? Okay.
Absolutely.
What's the region of the service? I mean, is it Chicago and the suburbs, or just Chicago, or?
It reaches out to the suburbs. Most of our attorneys, as Scott indicated earlier, we have about 300 on our service, and they do the majority office in the downtown area, but we have attorneys who have offices on the north side, south side, out in the western suburbs, up to Lake County even. So we can try to place people, generally find them an attorney that's near their location, because we do make referrals based on not only area of law, but also location. We try to get them with an attorney that's near their geographic location.
Very good. And then let's talk about some success stories. You talked about surveying your clients for feedback. Scott, can you maybe share some instances where you've been able to help somebody and have some success through the lawyer referral service?
Absolutely. A number of years ago, when the economy took a little bit of a downturn, there was a lot of really capable, qualified individuals that were just out of work. And it was either be out of work or try to start up their own business, whether it was consulting or whatever industry they were in. And I was able to work with quite a few individuals setting up a business, because again, it's very scary for these people, because they generally went to a workplace, got their paycheck every 2 weeks, and that's what they did. It's a very different dynamic when you're the boss. I mean, the benefit of being your boss is you can pick which 80 hours a week you work, but it's also scary because you're handling things that you're just not used to handling, in that way. So I was able to work with a lot of these individuals to help them get their businesses launched. Most of them are still my clients today. Also get an opportunity, doing the sports and entertainment work, to work with a lot of really young, talented individuals, like filmmakers and directors and writers and producers. And it's rewarding for me to be able to work with people that have such wonderful talent and such capabilities, and they're so passionate, and to really help them launch their career. Now, that's me personally. For the panel itself, or the service itself, being the chair, I do hear about the success stories of other attorneys and other clients, and we have had a number of attorneys in our service who have achieved 7-8 figure verdicts or settlements on behalf of their clients. So
very impressive.
Someone came to our service and they were able to get north of $10 million in a verdict or a settlement. So that's really good too, because you're not going to get something like that unless something bad happened. And it's good to know that our attorney was able to help somebody when they needed it the most.
Right. And it's nice to know that you're getting repeat business from that client that initially found their way to you through the CBA, which is really wonderful. And Brenda, you have a success story too, I think.
Yes. Well, you talk about surveying clients, and it's always good to hear the clients that are really happy. And this just happened a couple weeks ago. A gentleman called he was just so thankful and grateful, wanted to say thanks to the service for helping him. It was a gentleman who was from out of state, and he was owed some money from a company here in Chicago selling them equipment, and it was upwards of $20,000, $30,000, and the company had paid him some of that, but then just stopped paying. And I think he was owed maybe $8,000, but to him it was everything, because he had met hard times, and he had some medical issues and medical bills, and so a lot of lawyers wouldn't take that on, try to collect for $8,000, but we found an attorney who was willing to work with him, and just within a short amount of time got the company to pay everything that was owed, and the gentleman was just so grateful, and it was just really a win-win situation for everybody, and it just feels really good to be able to help people like that.
That's great. So does your committee recruit attorneys, or is it mostly just an attorney hears about the lawyer referral service and decides that they'd like to be a part of it?
I would say it's a little bit of both. If we have a particular need with one practice area, we may go to the attorneys on that panel and say, hey, do you know people in your practice area that are really good at what they do that might be interested in joining the service? Or, sometimes they just hear about the service and they come in off the street, as it were.
Sure.
Okay. And are you getting more calls in one area than others? Is there a popular need right now in the community for lawyers?
A need for particular lawyers to join the service?
No, a need for divorce or mortgage foreclosures. Or are you getting a lot of calls about one particular?
Always consumer is a big area. Consumer and employment law. Employment law is a real big area too.
Interesting. So the Chicago Bar Association also has an attorney on call program.
Yes.
Can we talk about that, please?
Sure.
And what that is?
That's something we started probably 3 years ago, and we found that sometimes people need to talk to an attorney after hours when we're not there. They need to get connected to an attorney, and we found that the 3 areas that we thought that would be most helpful to have an attorney on call after hours would be in the criminal area, the personal injury area, and the domestic relations or family law area. So our on-call program, each week we have 3 attorneys on call, 1 in each of those areas. And they volunteered to literally be on call 24 hours a day during that week.
Wow.
And so someone can call in after hours and they'll hear a greeting that says, if you need to speak with a criminal defense attorney this week, please contact. It'll give the attorney's name and the phone number.
Okay, and that's the same number that we talked about earlier.
That's right. They call
that's the 312-554-2001.
Right.
And if it's after hours, there'll be
a greeting that's an automated response that tells them who to contact.
Very good. And I imagine they probably get pretty busy sometimes, don't you think? What's the feedback from the attorneys who do this?
It depends. Some weeks there will be no calls.
It's quiet and
some weeks there's a lot of calls.
Yeah. And this is pro bono, right? The attorneys are not being paid for this service. This is volunteer service?
It's volunteer in the sense that they volunteer their time to be on call, but it's still like the regular referral program. If they
end up taking
a client, they'll discuss their fees with the client.
Okay.
They're not doing the service for free.
So sometimes it could end up that they're taking the matter over rather than giving quick advice on the phone or whatever.
Right.
Very good. I understand there's also a program where once a month we have, what's the program called? Call a Lawyer?
It's called Call a Lawyer.
Call a Lawyer.
And it's once a month, and it goes from, I believe, 9 to noon. And we have a number of attorneys that come to the office, and we just take calls. People will call in if they've got a problem or if something's going on, and I've done it a number of times, and sometimes people just want somebody to listen, and that's what we do. We'll listen. We try to help them when we can. If they are of limited means financially, we'll direct them to one of the service or the aid organizations in the city, and I really enjoy doing it. Because people are so thankful. They're just like, it's wonderful just to have somebody that'll listen to me and help me. I didn't know where to go, and it's a really great service that we provide for the Chicago community.
And so that's the 3rd Saturday of each month. And what are the hours that someone can call in?
9 to noon.
Okay.
And you call that same number.
The same number. That number serves a lot of
works
different
for a lot of ways.
554-2001.
And then they will reach a live person.
Yes.
And
live attorney at that time.
A live attorney, and be able to discuss their problem.
Right.
And now, do you have a number of different attorneys handling different matters at that time, or is it usually 1 or 2 generalists or whatever, whomever?
No, we usually try to have about 5 or 6 attorneys, and it will be attorneys from all areas. We don't say, okay, this Saturday we're just going to have bankruptcy attorneys, or this Saturday
or
it's
landlord-tenant
exactly.
or something. Okay.
Yeah, so you don't know what type of an attorney you might get when you call in, but they can generally provide general guidance.
Okay. And all of this information is on the Chicago Bar website in the lawyer referral service area. Just
the area for the public.
Right. Very good. There's also an in-court referral service, and maybe you can talk about that, Brenda, how that works.
Sure. That's a program administered through the lawyer referral service, and we assign an attorney to each of the criminal courts each day. Well, we rotate right now with other bar associations, so we may have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one of our, what we call a bar attorney, stationed at the court to be there available to consult with people who may need an attorney that day. And another bar association may have Tuesday, Thursday. And we do that through all the various districts, criminal courts, and a traffic court as well. And
So are these people largely showing up in criminal court without representation, essentially?
right. And then if the judge may say there is a bar attorney on hand, if you know they don't
Feel you
qualify
need
for
to
public
engage them.
defender, right?
And so does that work the same way? The lawyer will then disclose whatever their fee?
No, in that program it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
We are if you're asking if we get a fee?
No, I'm
Oh,
asking if
sorry.
the attorney will then tell the person, well, you can hire me, but it's going to be
Yes,
X and X. So
right.
they kind of negotiate their own
They do.
arrangement with the
And it
the
may be
person.
for the cash bond if there's a cash bond.
And I understand that's quite a popular program, particularly in some of the outlying areas of Chicago, because I know some of those courts are very busy.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I
so
think the
that's
courts really appreciate it.
very
It's
good.
worked well.
Yeah, that's great. And the other, one of the other programs you have is a senior wills program, which can be very popular. We're an aging population, and I understand that every so often the attorneys, volunteer attorneys, will go to a senior center and offer to help seniors write wills and maybe some other documents. Do you want to share that?
Right, that's been something again, the Lawyer Referral Service has administered a program for many, many years. We basically screen the attorneys to make sure, again, that they're qualified, experienced attorneys in the area of estate planning. And we work with various senior centers, and again, the people can go on the website and under the area for the public information and find what senior centers we send attorneys out to. The senior centers will call when they have a number of individuals who've requested to meet with an attorney, and we will send one of the attorneys out. They're on a rotation schedule, and they can go out and get some help.
Very good. And so is that information also on the website, the
It is.
centers who are participating?
Yes, it is. And it's generally for low-income seniors, too. They have to meet certain income requirements.
And about how many, do you have any idea statistically how many people you serve through the lawyer referral service? Do you keep numbers on
Sure.
how many people
sure.
you help?
We online are making 1,000 referrals a month, people coming online to get referrals. Over the telephone, referrals are probably, I think annually we're doing like maybe 50,000, about 50,000 people.
That's a lot.
So, yeah,
That's
calls,
great.
between calls.
That's
and-
amazing. That's an amazing service because, as
Yeah.
you said, it's not, sometimes people might not go on and contact somebody like Scott or be referred to Scott, but you know, it could be that they're directed to a legal aid organization that
Right.
might help them. So that's an amazing community service.
Right.
And I'm just going to ask that the slide for the lawyer referral service be put up again so we can show the number. It's 312-554-2001. If you're looking for an attorney and you need maybe just some free triage advice, call that number and you will get help. So Scott, maybe you can talk a little bit about, as a committee, the goals that you might have for the lawyer referral service on an ongoing basis.
You know, I think one of our goals is to be a community service organization. I mean, I think it's very important to us that we are helping the members of the Chicagoland community. You know, when we make 50, 60,000 referrals a year, again, not all those are going to attorneys like me or other panel attorneys. Some of them are going to, you know, aid organizations or, you know, other organizations or groups that help people of limited means. And, you know, that's very important to us as well. It's also nice for attorneys. You know, it's you know, it helps generate business, but it's also nice to be part of something like the lawyer referral service because there is such a strict vetting process. You know, so it actually does set you apart from, you know, the people that are just advertising in the yellow pages or just advertising on online directories or whatever. It does give you a little bit, I guess, a cachet, as it were.
Yeah, very good. Now, on the Chicago Bar Association website, is there a place where lawyers who are participating in the lawyer referral service to have their bios or anything about themselves, or
Not right
not
now.
yet? Okay.
That's something we've discussed.
Yeah, I bet
Hopefully coming, we need
technology
to-
is really, you've probably discussed this a lot in your committee, like
lot.
how technology can be a
lot.
good thing or a bad thing or both, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's really changing the game in town.
Right.
Well, it's a wonderful service that the Chicago Bar Association provides. I've been a member for a long time, but I can't say I knew that this was in existence 70 years ago. I mean, whoever came up with the idea was really ahead of his or her time.
Yeah.
And it's great that it's been so successful. So at any rate, well, thank you so much for telling us about the Chicago Bar Association Lawyer Referral Service. And Brenda Ott and Scott Anderson, thank you for joining us and filling us in about all the wonderful programs that it provides. You can find more about the Lawyer Referral Service at chicagobar.org. I'm Janine Cordero. Thank you for watching the Chicago Bar Association's Justice and Law Weekly.